what's going on? Yo, what's going on? What's going on? Yo, what's going on?
All right, let's go. Coffee's ready. Today's the second kind of cup of coffee day. Hi, everybody. Hope this goes well today. I feel like someone just said the stream felt laggy, and I was feeling a little bit of frame hitchy here myself, but let me know. Hello, happy Monday and all that stuff and greatness. What's up, randomness? You like my mug? Go put on a gray shirt, please. Sorry, Tristan, not today. Is it big spooky house time? No. In stream? What are you talking about, Coda? What are you talking about? Are you crazy? No, that's actually... I didn't realize I trolled you guys. I mean, I'm happy I did, don't get me wrong, but I didn't realize I trolled you guys in the video yesterday. The overwhelming amount of people were like, you were going to start a time lapse, and then you didn't. You just ended the video. And that was not my intent, but I'm happy that Subconscious Tango did that. So anyways, yeah, that was the plan, but something has come up now, so I think next episode might be something different that I have to do, which is good. It's not decked out related, which is kind of I know. We might leave the mountain. You prefer puppy cam to cliffhangers. I know, Tristan, that was great. Move this. Hang on. I'm not prepared. That needs to go over there. Streamlabs needs to not be stupid. Could you refresh, please? Probably not. Maybe. Hey, it worked. Are you actually kidding me right now? Did that not pop up on the... What the... Physics Ghost. Are you actually kidding me right now? That is way too generous. Thank you so much. I loved you developing HC games back from Decked Out 1. I want you to know the type of entertainment you give me makes me feel so much more connected than a TV show. That's the goal. That's the goal. Keep up the good work. Have my appreciation. Physics Ghost. Hang on. I gotta bust out the mug for that. Thank you so much. Physics Ghost. Unbelievable support. Thank you so much. Ghost, do you hear? Say something. Be a voice. Say words. There you are. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you. That is insanely generous. Too much. What's up, Noises? How you doing? Wow. Okay. I need more coffee. A live view. Something like that, yeah. Had a good weekend. It was good, yeah. Are you going to be part of Jevin's 12-hour stream? I didn't know there was going to be a Jevin 12-hour stream. So maybe. I don't know. If I can help him out in some way, I'd love to. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, today's going to be, I think the title... Those of you that got notifications, did you get yesterday's title about prepping for loot, or did you get the new title? Because I did it like super fast, and I don't think it had a chance to propagate before I hit the skadoodles. You got the new title? Okay. All right, so yeah, we're gonna do a little something. Don't get too excited. I'm not doing anything crazy. Bathos Society, store bath. Thank you so much. Daniel, thank you. But I want to show you guys a little bit of like what I do with like Photoshop and stuff today is the plan, and how I use like the layering system and stuff to do level design and tech design in Photoshop. So we're gonna try and do that, and it'll give you like a little idea of how things work, all the stuff that happens behind the scenes. I think, we'll see. But again, it's not going to be amazing. I'm not giving away any super secrets or anything here. But yeah, it'll be something different. And then after that, thanks. I don't know, so Twitch doesn't. Yeah, I know. Physics, you're smart. Thank you. Don't know, so Twitch doesn't take a cut. They definitely got their hand in the pie for the gift subs and stuff. But gift subs are cool for different reasons too. You know, people get to share in the love. But I appreciate that, Ghost. Thank you so much. So excited to see Beato's working on the cemetery. I know, Hattie. Like, I'll be honest. Like, you make various videos, right? And sometimes you're like, this video's a banger, and you're like, sometimes this video's like, it's okay. I feel like my video, if I'm perfectly honest, I feel like my video 2 videos ago was a good one, and the one yesterday was like, it was all right. I feel like I didn't explain the Redstone-y stuff, or I lingered too long and it got weird. I don't know. But anyways, the part with B-dubs, like, that carried the whole video. I thought you guys just needed to see that B-dubs has signed up to do the cemetery, and that's pretty much the best thing ever. Hot coffee is making me hot. You love nerd talk. I know everyone says that, but not everyone really thinks that. Jay Dilly, thank you for the piece of pie. I know you mentioned Deck.3 will be intentionally dark. Just curious, would you mind if the Hermits bumped up the brightness in post-production? Sure, absolutely, yeah. Go nuts in post-production. Again, Pathos Society, Stormbound, thank you for those gift bombs. Wild Wind, I see you. Thank you. Mr. Fried, thank you so much, Mr. Fried. Thank you for the 10 gift subs. Fabled Noodle, thank you. Hope you have a great day. I was watching your VOD last night since I can't always catch you live. Well, I love watching the VODs. I always forget it's not live. And we'll always participate in chat only to realize it's not live. Yeah, these things happen, you know. Don't worry. Just don't tell anyone about that part. That's the quiet part. B-Dub's new shop looks amazing. Did B-Dubs put out a video today? Is there a timeline for Decked Out to be completed? No. As fast as I can. Lanrick, thank you. Yeah. Do you know why the origami business went out of business? It folded. Catlock, thank you for 36 months. My coffee is exceptionally delicious right now. Anyway. Hi. So yeah, the big thing with the episode yesterday is I just totally had a nerd moment, and I had to kind of share it with you guys because it was like, I'm not, how do I say this? Like, when you can grab big systems that you worked on in the past, like, let me grab this giant thing over here and this giant thing over here and staple them together and they work, it's so satisfying. It's so satisfying. That's like a little bit of like programmer satisfaction. Like you write like a whole subsystem, and then when you start using that subsystem and it just works, it's like, oh, it's so good. It's so satisfying. Let's just hope that satisfaction keeps up and now we're not like doing stuff or forgetting stuff. All right. You're happy to make the snowball pots make an appearance? Yeah, that's all you, Risk. The interesting thing is, Risk, it's like, this almost tripped me up. The signal strength is like almost linear 1 snowball to 1 signal strength until you get to 10. And then you have to put in 11 to get 10. Yeah, it's because of rounding errors, of course. But it's interesting that like 1 snowball, 1 signal strength, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, all the way up to like 9, 9, and then 10, you need 11, and I needed a 10, so yeah. Wait, you build things and they just work? No, not really. Have you decided on roof height? Yeah, I think we kind of, Ali, we came to that conclusion that, and we figured this out in the stream, I think, and I kind of settled on it, is because we're going to be having a loot wall in between Greywick and the swamps, like a vertical wall that drops all the way down. Like, that means we have like, okay, we have, I'll see if I can do this with like hand gestures and stuff. This is the Greywick wall, right? This is the vertical wall between Greywick and the swamp. Given that we're already coming down here, there's no reason to not put the swamp wall like 6 or 7 blocks lower, because we already have that corner bump between the ceiling and the wall. So it's fine. It's fine. Can you show us the imaginary black roof with light Matica? No, we can't. Listen, we have to do that once in a while. You mean this one? Ooh. Yeah, this is basically what the game's gonna look like. Basically what the game's gonna look like right here, which is gonna be amazing. It's gonna be so creepy. Can't wait. Can't wait. It makes it so much brighter. It makes everything else pop around it. Yeah, because the blackness like pushes everything into the foreground. It's really cool. All right, so did I spy a node up in the corner? A node of what? Probably. Paul, you haven't seen that yet? Yeah, a lot of people haven't seen that. I do that once in a while. It gives a little teaser to what it's going to look like in the end. Would the treasure be raining down from the ceiling? No. Are you going to add stars to the roof? No. That's like the number one question. No. How excited are you for B-dubs to do the cemetery? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm about a triple Z 9 or 14. Is Dunga distribution finished? Wait, what was Dunga distribution? Oh, I did some more. We're looking pretty good here. I did a bunch more over here off stream, and of course they went like 1,000 times quicker off stream. But we're done up until like, well, we've got, let's see, let me count. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Ravager drop-off spots already here. And I've got like, well, there's like another one right there I'm going to do and stuff like that. So yeah. So the slums are almost complete with Dunga distribution. Did you play more with making the ceiling bump to hide beacons? Ceiling bump to hide beacons. I don't know what that means. Sorry. How much will you call it to make sure you have the space? So yeah, B-dubs and I talked. Mr. Fried, thank you again. Thank you so much. Appreciate you in your face. I mean, B-dubs and I talked. There's definitely going to be some off-camera kind of stuff. Like I want to set the function and layout of the cemetery, where the main, you know, artery pathways are going to go, where the main kind of what POIs I want, but I want him to add to that too. But basically it's going to be function over aesthetics first, and then he's going to, you know, so what we'll probably do is I'll probably set up a shared server for us to work on, where I can just go in and kind of, again, gray box, like, okay, I want walls here and here, and POI is point of interest, basically just something that isn't nothing, you know, like I've talked to him, like, I think I probably want like some kind of a caretaker's hut or a caretaker's house in the cemetery, like the guy or the person that took care of the cemetery is a typical thing back then. So a caretaker's house, or maybe other like areas within the cemetery for I don't know what the right word is, but like when they would bring in an important person who died, they would have like almost like a section that they would go through and stuff, and then they would have a section to pray and all that stuff and everything. So like all these different things to make the cemetery more than just like, oh, here's a bunch of gravestones and some paths. Like it needs to feel interesting. So I want to get a handful of those, and then those are going to tie into, well, all kinds of things. Yeah. What's up, Bunny? How you doing? Mr. Fried, that's 3 times now. That's your limit. Thank you so much. Any zombie booty? Oh, there's gonna be some zombie booty. I listen, I was like excited that he's just like, yeah, I'll do the whole cemetery. I mean, that's a massive area. Granted, the cemetery is way easier than Greywick. Greywick is like house, building, you know. Cemetery is obviously going to be more organic and outdoorsy and stuff. It will have a lot of trees and stuff like that, but it's still a big area. Zombie rider in the cemetery? I think so, probably, yeah. I think we'll probably do that. What? Guys, you guys are way, like an order of magnitude beyond anything. Oh, crazy Silverado. That is so much. Thank you. Haven't caught a stream in a while. Been a crazy summer with work and travel. Things are settling back down. Excellent. Glad to hear that. So hopefully to catch more streams. Great progress on Deck 3. The progress is starting to roll now. Crazy. Thank you so much. So much. Saucy, thank you. God, God, thank you guys. Thank you. All right, we're moving on. We're moving on because I don't want. Thank you guys. All right, so today we're gonna do something a little bit interesting. I want to, against my better judgment, we're gonna show a little bit of like how I do level design and stuff like that. This isn't the gray boxing stuff. This is all in Photoshop. And the reason I want to show you this now is because I'm at an interesting point, and this was made very clear in the last video that it's a problem, or not a problem, but a system I need to solve right now. And that is, how do I want to control the spaghetti, for lack of a better term, right? Saucy, thank you so much. That is unbelievably generous of you. Daniel, thank you. I don't know if you know this, but we were very excited about Decked Out 3. I am too. Thank you guys. Unbelievably. I am so appreciative of you, as always. All right, so I want to be smart about spaghetti organization. When I say spaghetti, you know what I mean. It's the inevitable. There's no way around it. Exactly, Tristan. Exactly. The inevitable, like, I have to run wires to all of these sprinkled systems throughout the game, right? Loot distribution, map shifts, various other things that we haven't talked about. There's going to be like a lot of things that are just like, oh, I went there, and I've got to hook them all up. So, you know, I have to send wires or an event to them all. So I really want to be a little bit smart about how that happens, and everything we did here is going to get torn down. And I knew that. I just kind of threw it together because what I really want to do is get the more official system in, and we're going to kind of talk about that today. And then maybe start actually planning it out, if that makes sense. Have you thought about a couple rare hidden treasure chests in addition to random ground loot and risky cursed chests could still be? Well, what do you mean by rare hidden? Like they're hidden behind a wall, and like once every 10 games they pop, they are revealed. Lord, is that what you mean? That could be an option, yeah. That could be an option. Oh my gosh, is there a light here? What's up, light? How you doing? Geksu, thank you. It's interesting that they're not. The Streamlabs thing is not. There's no space between the name and the word tipped, so it's just everybody has. Anyway, it's hard for me to read. Geksu, thank you. It's amazing to follow design philosophy combining Decked Out 2, and now you work within the boundaries of Minecraft. Everything is about the limits of Minecraft. Yeah. How long bread? Yeah. How long bread? You got it. That's exactly where we're going to be talking about in just a second, I think. So anyways, yeah. So what I want to do, without further ado, Taco Magic, thank you so much. I want to, let me get to a safe spot where we can chill for a little bit, because I'm going to be bringing up a little Photoshop overlay here. Hopefully it works. Let's see here if I do. Maybe. Oh, that was the wrong. This one. There we go. All right, cool. All right, so what you're seeing now, we're gonna be staring at this screen for a little bit. What you're seeing is a 2D orthographic projection. I don't know if you don't know what orthographic it means. It's not typically when you take like a render of something, you have what's called a view frustum, which is almost like it's like a pyramid with the top cut off, and that is your camera. And and when you do that, you get like distortion at the edges. That's why, like, when you look at a block straight down, you just see a perfect square. But if you look at a block that's way over to the side, nerd stuff, yeah. If you look at a block way over to the side, you see like the angle of the block and everything, right? So you're basically like, from your eye, it's how it would look. Orthographic projection is not like that. It's like, imagine your eye was as big as the map, and your eye is everywhere, just looking straight down. So you just get like a perfectly projected straight down view of everything without any like, I'm looking at this from an angle and stuff. And it makes it a lot easier to do things like this. So what we've got here is a overhead projection brought into your eye is infinitely far away. Yeah, that's a good way of describing it too. We have an overhead projection. I got this from an app called Minutor that's been around forever. But it's really cool because the one thing it allows you to do is take orthographic projections, top-down orthographic projections of a save file. This is a backup of Hermitcraft, obviously. But you can have a slider where you can like peel off vertical levels and only take a render of a range of Y levels. So it allowed me to basically peel off the mountain and just take a perfect overhead view of the game. Obviously it's a little bit distorted and stuff, and some, things are splotchy and stuff, but it gets the point across. So it's a great starting point, right? It's a great starting point. And every once in a while I can come in and update this, and get a newer version. Like when I start, like you can see right now, it's obviously got the slums and the market district here. But once I start, I'm going to build over here. You guys see the cursor, right? Yeah. Once I start building, we're going to build this next, and then we'll probably start going down into the southern areas of Greywick down here. I can just get updated versions of this and lay it on top of it. So I wanted to show you all this to show like it's a good example of how much of the map is actually done. Not a lot. Yeah, all the yellow is torch dots and stuff like that. So we're gonna zoom in a little bit here, and we're gonna focus on mostly this area here, right? Let me get this a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. Okay. So we're gonna focus on just the slums today. Speed-Up's doing the entire graveyard. We're gonna do it he's gonna do all the building and the aesthetics. I'm going to lead off with some of the functionality. We were talking about this earlier, but yeah. Looks like 6 or 7%. Now, Dead Knight, I was gonna say 20. Don't say that. Coffee. Jude, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Feels like we're making a custom Heroes of Might and Magic 3 map. Yeah, pixels are, it's obviously this is the best we get right here, right? But it's also because I've taken screenshots and now we're zooming in and stuff. But anyways, it gets the point across, all right? So, most of the work was building the architecture. You're absolutely right, Drasty, right? Like the physical placing blocks is almost like it's almost like the end of the project. It seems silly, but all of the work was in the planning and where do I want things to go and how do I work and writing the design document and all that stuff. So yeah, but in terms of building, yeah, we're not that far along, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay, so I theoretically could use this for actually like laying out buildings and stuff, and I started to like just like drawing boxes and stuff on here, but then I was like, well, that part is actually better to do in a creative world because then you can actually fly around and see it and feel it better. But what this is really, really good for is using Photoshop's or any image program's layering system to kind of like get an overview of how all the bits and bobs are going to work together. So for instance, I can like have I like a layer for corruption nodes, right? And I can turn those on and off so I can see, okay, where all my corruption nodes going to be. I can, like this one's really important here, I can have one where I turn on and off all of the warden pop-ups. And you can see this covers like, these are the warden pop-ups in the fairly precise location of where they are. And the reason this is important is so that I don't put any redstone system where you see one of these like 3x3 black boxes, right? Because then there's gonna be a collision. I won't be able to fit it in there. So I can turn those on, right? To have like always just as a warning, like make sure you avoid that area. Maybe block is not the best for this. Eventually I run out of colors, Soljan. I run out of colors. Warden on the river. Yeah, it's fine. They'll like this warden here won't pop up as high. So there may be a block or two because he doesn't go up as high. His spherical area of influence won't project up into the map as much. So there may be a block or two that, did you do this for Deck Dot 2? I did, yeah. Are you going to have any clouds in the sky? No. Yeah, I'm sure we will have a name for this river. Deck Dot 2 had the little tiny river of souls, and that honestly inspired the river around the market district. I wanted rivers because I know rivers are fun. players in panic try to jump over it and stuff, and they never make it, and it's good times for everybody. Can we see the decked out 2-1? No, I don't even know where that is. No, that's not the point of today. And yeah, decked out 2 had a lot of vertical overlap, so I didn't do it all at once. I did it on a level by level basis. So anyways, one of the things I want to do today is like, all right, we're adding the loot system, and this is by far, well, not by far, but it's definitely one of the subsystems that has the most spaghetti associated with it. I use that term meaning because there's a lot of places where loot has to drop, you know, far more than there are corruption nodes. Like I'm only having 2 corruption nodes, I think, in the slums, because corruption nodes are like very, you know, obviously very big to the gameplay. I don't need to sprinkle them everywhere. But loot needs to kind of be everywhere because I want every loot to be rarely distributed at each location. So I need a lot of them so I can turn the dial way down so it's not very predictable, if that makes sense. And the floor loot ones are super easy to make, so I don't mind making 80 of those or something like that. So, but we are going to talk about loot today. And for instance, the first step of this now is for me to go in and say, before I even start thinking about redstone, exactly, lots of places with low probability, yeah. Before I start thinking about redstone or anything, I want to think about gameplay, as always. I want to say what's best for the game and what makes the most fun. So what I do is I go in and I say, okay, let's start using this, because I don't have to be pixel precise here and stuff, and it doesn't matter the quality of the image and stuff. It's just here for general spacing and distribution, like a heat map almost of where I want these systems. So I can, like, for instance, I come in and I can say cursed chests, all right? I don't want cursed chests to be that common because they're going to give a lot of loot and they represent a fairly significant risk, right? Like I don't want them to be like, oh, I opened up 7 cursed chests and 2 of them hit me this run. Like that feels too safe. I want them to be more rare, and every one of them I want to be like, before you open it, you're looking at your fear meter going, that's the goal. That's the goal. So I'm thinking more cursed chests are rare, but if the fear hits, it's going to be a big fear spike, so that it's really a big dilemma. It's not like they're everywhere, and if it hits, you only get 2 fear, right? Because then it's just like, oh, I can just keep doing these, and if a couple hit, it's no big deal, then I'll stop. And also out of the way, yeah, Jake, I want to, I look at everywhere on the map. This isn't just for the slums, of course, and I have to look at all the different areas, and I have to say, like, okay, where do I want the players to go, and where do I want to reward them, if you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to. So I start thinking about, like, okay, if there was no loot anywhere, where would the players walk? Where would the easiest path be to get through the slums? And that's the places I don't want to put loot, because now I'm rewarding them for what is natural and optimal anyways. So I want to put loot off the beaten path, to use a phrase. Like, I want them to have to go and explore the map to find the cursed chests, especially, and not find, but to, eventually they'll know where they are. But to get to them, it's not going to be just like, oh, there's I'm walking right by. It's got to be like, I'm going to go over there, that kind of thing. What do you think will be a lot of fear? 2, 5, 9? Yes. Starkey, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Those numbers mean nothing unless we know what the maximum is. So yeah, it's about distribution. I look at every little nook and cranny on the map, and I say, I'd like to have something here that involves gameplay. And what that means is, like, maybe I put a cursed chest over here in this little corner, but for instance, over here, I've got a corruption node, right? Which is, I can go over there to give you a little background on what we're doing here. Oh, you're probably not gonna be able to see it because I have the thing. Hold on. 1 second. So this area right here on the map is this area in the back over here. There's going to be a corruption node here. It's like a dead end behind Bramble and Bone. So given that this is already like an important area that normal gameplay is going to bring players back here anyways, I don't feel I need to add a cursed chest or something. Even though it's a secluded area, I don't need to make it double interesting. It's already very interesting enough because the corruption node is here, so players will be coming back here, hopefully, to cleanse the corruption node if I get all the balancing correct. So I'm not going to put any loot back here, if that makes sense. So I have to look at other places. One of the places that I definitely like, and I built this kind of intentionally here, the slums have like a main, I know you guys probably don't have like a mental picture of how the map works in your head yet, but like this right here is like the main road. This is the easy path to travel here. So I'm not putting any loot or anything on this path here. This is generally where you go. But in fact, there's not going to be loot here. There's going to be danger here of various varieties. But once you go back here, this is kind of like the dingier, more secluded area of the slums in the back here. And again, there's map shift here and stuff. So some of these map shifts triggers, it's actually kind of tricky to get back here. But then there's this area, like it's really starting to get skulk infested back here. Back here, like Twisty, it's all muddy and dirty, and there's just like fires burning and stuff. So I think, and then boom, giant corruption node again. But this one, because it is so secluded, I think I'm gonna put a cursed chest back here anyways, to really like, I want people to have to come back here for corruption cleansing, but also have them come back here for beneficial things like, you know, cursed chest, to really pull them into this back alleyway. But with that said, this could be also where I release, in this back alleyway could be where I release some extra little greeting committee, that sort of thing. All right, let me go back to this. All right, so generally not putting loot on the convenient path. So I'm scheduling 2 cursed chests. This one here is the one we already did. I'm gonna rewire it today, but the location is gonna stay the same. And then in terms of loot, floor droppers, I'm looking at this right now. I might add some more. I feel like I might need another one. Right, so it's interesting. I look at like, okay, where are they going? Again, I want to reward them for going along this back area here. I don't really have many in and around Bramble and Bone, because that's already a very interesting POI that people are going to want to be going into. So general gameplay is going to be taking people up into this corner already. So I don't feel like I need to put that much loot there. I do have one scheduled right there in the corner. I might take it out. I'm not sure. Are you planning to have any cursed chests in the river underwater? No, I don't think so. I mean, it'd be interesting, I guess, but going in the river is, I don't know. I gotta think about that. Maybe it's definitely a challenge to go inside there. It's a good question, I suppose. You roll. People definitely don't want to go in the river. Once you go in the river, like, you're super vulnerable. It's hard to get out. And of course, it does beg the question of like, why is there a chest at the bottom of the river? Maybe it fell in or something. I suppose it might be interesting to put one right where like that little crane is. Where's that? Hold on. I built this like little crane here. Maybe that would be cool, where like right below here is like it dropped it. Yeah, that's not a bad idea actually. Yeah, the river in DO2 is a menace. Yeah, this river here is going to be, the thing is, the river in Decked 2 felt very jumpable, and it was for the most part, unless you hit the soul sand verse or something like that. But this river does not feel very jumpable. It is jumpable, right? There's technically, right, all the glass. I don't know if you can even see them. Probably not. Telerain, thank you so much. Vanessa, thank you. Did you hear about the restaurant on the moon? Great food, no atmosphere. Tells, thank you. Just splitting a birthday gift from my aunt I got yesterday. Why would you do that? That's yours. But thank you, Tells. There's so much. So you can technically jump across this. It's going to be super impossible in the dark areas, but the important thing is the Ravagers can just run across this, which is amazing, yeah. And the glass is, and there's these, right? And if you get sucked down to those, it's actually very difficult to get out, and you start to panic, and yeah, you're in a sad place. Can you put Guardians in the river? I mean, I could, but I won't. How do the Ravagers get up the side walls of the river? Good question. It's been on my to-do list for a long time. You see these slabs right here? What I need to do, and this is a topic, something I need to do. Let me go over here where it's a little bit brighter maybe. If I take out these slabs, like if I do that, now a Ravager can walk right up that and leave. So what I need to do is figure out the spacing and distribution of where I want to put these such that Ravagers can kind of get out fairly easily, but obviously a player could jump up there too. So I want to get the distribution and spacing of these just right where Ravagers can still kind of chase you, but it's not convenient for players. Could those change face to face? No. They can jump two. They can jump one because the top of that glass is, I believe. Oh no, wait. Am I crazy? I'm forgetting something. Oh, I think I have to put, yeah, I have to put another, what do you call it? Another glass right up against there, which it will be hard to see. But if I put one glass there, then they can step up. That's what it was. But the gray glass is so hard to see against the water and stuff. Like, it's great. Can you make cursed chests? Hold on. Raise in risk as the games progress, so the player is more prone to entertain risks early. That's a good game design, I think, but can I do that? I don't know. What I can do, so one of the realizations I came to is, again, nerd talk, is when that triggers right there, that means they opened a cursed chest that was cursed. Okay. And what I was originally planning on doing is just having that be a line that directly went to +1 fear or plus X fear, right? But I think instead what I want that to do is instead I have a dedicated inbound line for cursed chest open, right? And it goes to a system, the cursed chest system. So it receives that event that says, they opened a cursed chest. Okay. Now, if I make it a system, instead of redirecting it right to the results of what I think a cursed chest to be, I can do various things with it. And I can have cards affect it, right? I can make a card that says the next cursed chest you open is ignored, right? Or I can do exactly what you're saying here. I can turn the dial now to make it as, we'll say as omen increases, cursed chests start to become more, I can't turn it up. I could turn it up. I can't turn it up because the determination is at the node right here. What I can do is turn up the penalty. Yeah, exactly. Jake, we're on the same page all the time. We think of the same thing all the time. I could turn up the penalty, right? So at the beginning of the game, opening a cursed chest gives you 4 fear, whatever that means. I don't even know if that's, but then later in the game, it gives you 7 or something, right? But if I make it a system, I now have flexibility to do all the kinds of things that I want. Conversely, I can make a card that gives you something really good, but increases the penalty for cursed chests or something like that. So it by making it a system instead of making it, putting the effect as the output of the system, instead just say it's the cause, not the symptom, is sent to the control system over here. I'm not describing that well, but hopefully you know what I'm saying. Once I do that though, now it allows cards to interact with it and do all kinds of cool things. No, I'm not making etho mode. I feel like no matter what I talk about, everyone's got to say etho mode. Enough with the etho mode, guys. It's frustrating. Vanessa, thank you. I have to pre-read this one. That's terrible, Vanessa. Juan and Amal are identical twins, but their mom only carries one photo. Once you've seen Juan, you've seen them all. Extremis, thank you for the 10 pieces of pie. Thank you so much. Okay. Anyways, back to this. Is the music too loud? I feel like the music might be a little too loud. Yes, but if Ravagers in the water and then again, they might not be able to find a way out for chasing snowmen. No, they will be able to. Mogan, I can't pronounce your name, but yeah. Ravagers on top of a river will still, that's still under the sphere of influence of snowmen calling for aid and stuff like that, so. penalty of cursed chests must be really high because after the first opening, you can freely open it several times when you know it's not cursed. Yeah, but maybe we make it where once you open it, it doesn't get more loot. And I mean, are you really gonna sit around there for 3 or 4 minutes to like wait for more loot or loop back to a whole like? If we're in a situation where players are doing like looping around, hitting all the cursed chests, then I failed. And I know you guys think that Etho will do that, but Etho's a smart player. Once I turn the numbers correctly, he will stop. Sometimes I wish Etho almost didn't play the game. Anyway, moving on. Vanessa, thank you. I'm done reading puns, though. I appreciate it, though. Okay. Easy solution, limit treasure drops in the zone until the player moves on. Well, yeah, but then it's like Dead Knight, they could just kind of leave and come right back and stuff. But yeah. Anyways. So these are preliminary. And by preliminary, I mean 80%. I might add 1 or 2 or something like that. These are the floor drop treasure whatevers that I'm going to add. I'm not sure if it's enough. I might add more. It really comes down to, like, when I think about loot drops, right? At the node, the most randomization or the most rarity I can do, of course, is 1 in 9, a 1 in 9 chance of distributing loot at the node. Unless I wanted to double, I'm not going to make it more complicated by double chaining droppers together and stuff like that. So basically every node can have up to a 1 in 9 chance of distributing loot. But that doesn't mean that I mean, in fact, I already have it over here. If you guys, I don't know if you saw, I can have like a global, and I had this in decked out too, as well too, like a global loot throttle system basically that says, hey, every time loot should be generated, it first has to go through the global check of, are we just dropping that on the floor, right? Oh, can't see, sorry. That's gonna happen a lot. So if a loot system comes in, right, what I could do is have something like this, where right now we have, what is that, a 80% chance? What is that, 6? A little bit more than 80% chance. Right, so you have like a 5 out of 6 chance right now that the loot will continue to go through. But if that redstone pops up, it just ignores it, right? So I have a way to turn down loot even more here, and the player won't even really know about it. But it's a good way for me to balance things globally as the game is progressing. But if it goes here, then it actually will go out. So to determine if a loot is dropped at a location, you really have to kind of multiply this chance plus the node chance, if that makes sense. So yeah, I could go all the way down to 1 in 81 if I want, which I'm not, but I'm fairly confident that between this and a 1 in 9 at the nodes, that I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. In fact, what I might do if I want to have variation between the loots, between the nodes themselves, I might set some of them to be like 1/3, 1/4, and then tone this more down, if that makes sense, so that I can have more variation in the individual loot nodes themselves. This is the same as decked out too, right? Yeah, pretty much, Lukey. Yeah, we have the same system. Yeah. Exactly, Dead Knight. Yeah, I can have some of the loot drops, you know, give better loot. You know, some of the ones like this one in the back corner here, right? Couldn't have like a 1/3 chance. You know, but I don't know that I'll increase the desirability of a loot node by increasing the frequency. I'll probably increase the desirability of a node by changing the loot that's in the dropper, meaning it has like, you know, like we had coins and crowns in decked out too, right? Higher distribution of crowns and coins, that kind of thing. The cursed chest have better probability than the dropper chest. Again, I think that's going to be solved with the loot that can go into the chests rather than the frequency. Keep in mind also that when the game starts, and this is the way it currently is, I may change it. but when the game starts, it randomizes which cursed chests are going to be cursed or not. If it's not cursed, it immediately gives it one free loot hit to put something in there. That way it's either, if you open up an empty chest, it is cursed. If you open up a chest that's not cursed, it will have loot in it, at least the first time you open it. That's the mentality I'm kind of going for, but it does mean that cursed chests are going to be always have something good in them though. So I mean, they might be too powerful. I don't know. I gotta think about that. It has to be something in it. I mean, it doesn't technically have to be something in it, but I thought it would be confusing to open a chest that isn't cursed, but is also empty. And it's just like, but you know, it doesn't feel good. I want win or loss, right? I want to open that chest and be like, I lost, or I open the chest and I won. That slot machine kind of thing, yeah. Are cursed chests dynamically hidden at all? Nope. Will they accumulate loot over time? Yeah, this was like physics. It was a big question that a lot of people, like all the comments are saying, like, this isn't gonna work. Loot's gonna stockpile overruns, and there's gonna be so much loot in these chests. Obviously, I made it so that when the game's over, it drains and it all goes back in. In fact, it's actually really cool. It drains from the dropper back into storage first and gives that a chance to refresh back into the dropper. And then once that's done for like a few seconds, then the backup storage unlocks and attempts to replenish after that. So it won't jam up the system, basically. Any loot that was in the dropper at the end of the game gets first priority to go back to cycle back in. And then if there's still empty spots, meaning they did take some loot, then the shulkers will unlock and loot will go in to fill it up. It just felt like something I didn't need to talk about in the video, but apparently I did. Have load from one source at starts. It always has like a coin. Yeah, I don't want to put like double sources in there, but it's already pretty complicated, right? And I have to build quite a few of them, so. All right, anyway, so what I want to get to today, we haven't even talked about what I want to get to today. Extremist, thank you. Isn't it better I didn't make the cursed chests a one-time use per run? Maybe, like I said, I could make it where once you open up a chest, if there's loot in it, you've now triggered it and you've converted it. I could have it switch to a cursed chest after that. Maybe. I don't know. I got to find a way to squeeze that redstone in there. I got to look at it. If someone put an item in there that's in the chest, will the system cope with that? No, it won't. And that would be someone doing something malicious and attempting to cheat. So, yeah, there's general rules. Do not put items from the game into chests. Do not put them on shelves, things like that. So really the goal of today is what we started to talk about, which is getting it so that I'm avoiding, you know, crazy noodle spam everywhere. So what I want to do is come up with a plan and a system for minimizing the redstone spaghetti and doing it smart on all three axes and color code them and things like that. So that's what I want to talk about today. So if we look at back over here in the map, right? Say these are the loot drops and the cursed chests that I want. Again, cursed chests are the green ones. I only have 2 planned right now. And the floor droppers, I think there's like 9 or 10 of them or something like that here or whatever, right? Now I have to say to myself, okay, I have to hook these all up. So what I can do is turn on, wait for it. I can turn on my bus lines, right? This is where it's showing me where my bus lines are or will be, below the map. All right. So this is really a great way for me to kind of see, okay, where's the events that I'm going to need come from? So from here now, I can start to come up with smart ways to hook all these systems up in a way that is, so there's two thoughts here, right? On one hand, I could say every single node, every single like loot drop node gets a direct event receiver off the main bus line and gets a line straight to it. But that means there's tons and tons of event receivers. So I think there's a hybrid of what I want. I don't want to have one event receiver for all of the slums because that's a ton of spaghetti, but I don't want to have one event receiver for every loot drop either. I think the sweet spot is in the middle there, and I want to be smart about where I pull messages off of the main bus line and distributed to the nodes. So what that means is something like this, right? What this is a kind of a first pass of those yellow lines represent that node that's super close to the bus makes me nervous. Spaghetti Central. Oh, I mean, that's going to happen, right? So what this is almost like a minimalistic approach to how I can hook up all the lines with minimal spaghetti. Does that make sense? Because when I did this, and again, I don't want the redstone to drive gameplay. I don't think about these lines until I'm happy with the gameplay of where the locations are. And sometimes those are in bad locations. But that's okay. I don't want to sacrifice gameplay just to make the redstone easier, if that makes sense. So once I had the nodes in there, I was like, okay, well, it looks like I could, I just look for patterns, right? And there was like clearly a good horizontal line. I could run through the top ones and get all those along the back wall. This one here, and then a couple here. And that kind of works. So I like it. This makes this feels a lot better. Right now, there's only going to be basically a couple of big lines, and then we're good. And now this will be the same for every system, right? I could come in now and be like, like I have a layer for map shifts. I don't think I have anything on it, but for instance, we could do this, right? I could come in here and we'll say map shifts are going to be, I know this isn't what I'm going to do, but map shifts are, say there's like, oh, there's a map shift there. There's a map shift there. There's one there. There's one there. And there's one, I'm making this up, right? And there's one there, right? Now I can just come in and turn off my loot system, turn on my map shift system, and then go, all right, what's the best way to hook these up? And I would look at this and go, oh, this one actually, this isn't, I'm making this all up, but I could just be like, bam, right? And then just kind of find that even flow through the whole thing, if that makes sense. How much space will you need to read from the bus line for all the different systems? How much space do you have for that? I mean, the readers take up one block. So, a reader is only, where is it? This is a reader right here. So I only need one block of space, but what we're going to talk about next is the verticality of this. Mouse Muse, thank you so much. Thank you. Can we go and place the loot drop locations in the real map? We were going to do that today, yeah. As in, will the readers eventually get very crowded? If I don't, like, as long as I'm keeping the readers kind of sparse, Jake, I think we're fine, right? Because, for instance, right, with this, I've only got 4 readers in a huge area, and that covers all of loot. So I don't think, worst case, like, okay, you see there would be another reader. Anytime the bar crosses the bus line, that's a reader. So, and there's flexibility. I can go plus or minus a few blocks either way, of course, and still receive the same effects. It's easy to transfer the reader signal vertically so you can make layers for different systems. Sire, that's exactly what we're going to talk about next, is the verticality, yeah. The only downside to this right now is the readers I have, the way it's designed, because there's that control line. I mean, without getting into how this reader works and everything, it's just the output has to come off the left side of the direction it's going, right? So, I knew I was going to miss that because I'm parkour champion, right? The flow of the events are going in the direction I'm seeing. Is there a Lomax here? What's up, Lomax? How you doing? We weren't talking about you at all yesterday, as far as you know. Good to see you, Lomax. So the signal is going in the direction I'm saying here. Sorry. So the event has to come off the left side. So unfortunately, what this means is there are some times where it's like this one here, for instance, right? The flow of here is going from top to bottom down the event bus because it's an outgoing. So I have to read it off of this line and carry it over and stuff like that. It is what it is. It's not that bad. When I said yesterday, I meant Friday. I don't know, whatever it was. Is it possible for multiple signals to interfere on the bus? No. I mean, that's the point of our token ring thing. So we guarantee there's no collisions on the outgoing one. Wednesday? I don't know. It's all the same, exactly, yeah. Do we have space in bus lines for unique readers for creating sectors in game, maybe? I don't know what that means, Mr. Perney. All right, so what a lot of people are getting at when I want to talk about is like verticality and stuff like that. So this is kind of like how I design the redstone flow on the, you know, on the flat XZ plane, if you will, like the top down, and that's 90% of the work. But there's, you know, the other side of this is I want to, and I did not do this in Decked Out, and I think this will help a lot, is I want to, for each system, define a Y height that system lives at, if that makes sense. So treasure lines are going to be color-coded yellow, and they will all run at Y height X or Y, right? And that way I'll have like almost like stratospheres of redstone that aren't all intertwangled. That I just said that, intertwangled. But should stay fairly layered, right? So they'll be color coded and they'll stay hopefully to their kind of vertical layering, intertwangled. Yeah, that just happened. To avoid the redstone miss. And I think those two together, well, three things together, minimizing spaghetti using this system with as few lines as possible, keeping all those systems on the same vertical plane, and then color coding. All three of those together, I think, is the plan. Intertwangled. Yep. Instant vertical redstone is super neat with cobblestone walls and observers. Well, you know, unfortunately, cobblestone walls only go down. You can't send a signal up with cobblestone walls. So that's the downside to it. I need a, there's no good, and this is where everyone will contradict me, I'm sure, but there's no good upward vertical redstone line. I know there are some, but they're clunky. I want a 1 wide or a 2 wide, you know. I could do stair stepping slabs or glass, but I think honestly what I'm going with is probably the is slime block pushers. You know, you're gonna see a lot of these right here. Scaffolding works, but it's slow. It's super slow, and I didn't realize this until yesterday. Scaffolding is 1 tick per vertical block, so it's really slow. Like if I want to send a signal 30 blocks up in the air, which I'll frequently have to do here, it's 30 ticks for it to get up there. It's slow. Walls are instant. We just covered that. Walls only go down. They don't go up. You can't send a vertical signal up. Leaf stone's even slower. It's got limited distance. Yeah, leaf stone is slow. You can only go maximum amount. You only go like 6 blocks and you have to repeat the system or something like that. Scaffolding isn't good enough? No, I just said that. Bubblestone works, but it's too clunky because now you need a 3x3 for every vertical line you want to run requires, because you have to have water and encase that water and all that stuff. So bubbles aren't good either. Bubbles are slow throughput. Oh, are they? Oh, meaning like you can't on off. I thought it was instant when you changed it, but I don't remember. Either way, I'm not using bubbles. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are off the table, and I know this will definitely be a frequently asked question of, you know, people will always be saying, why aren't you using walls? Why aren't you using leaf stone? And there's reasons for it. Yeah. Torch tower is simple, but it's super slow, right? Because it's 1 tick for every 2 blocks. Doing this, I can send it 30 blocks in 2 or 3 ticks. You know, maybe 4 ticks. I'm not sure, because there's the piston extending takes like a tick and a half or something like that, I think. But I think overall this is the best system. Observer tower, that's horrible too. It's 1 tick per block. Yeah. Dispensers of fireworks. Yeah, that's wonderful. Magic. Have I considered magic? I would love magic. Yeah, magic would be great. Can two separate incoming signals come in at the same time, stack, and mess up the binaryification on the bus lines? No, so for the outgoing line, we have our token ring event scheduler to guarantee that one event only goes out at a time. Which line has the most spaghetti? It'll probably be the loot lines, the yellow lines, yeah. Have I considered command blocks? Oh, I've considered them, yeah. Inbound, if you're asking about inbound, then we have a separate solution for that, which I haven't gotten to yet, and it's complicated, and I don't like it, but it works. There's basically a way where each sender has to basically gain control of the line before sending it. But we have a solution for it. So yeah, both systems, inbound and outbound, will have mutual exclusivity on the bus before they send a message. Okay, so with all of this said, right, I at least have a plan. Now, the other thing I should know too is to get, I don't want to have any like zaggy lines of redstone. I'm not going to go up at angles. I'm basically going to go with any place where I'm reading off of the bus line. We're going to go straight up to that system's designated Y height and then run horizontally from there. So what that means is we'll have like a little extra, let me put this on the right layer. Boom. We'll have little extra sections, right? Like right where these little boxes are here is where the verticality will be. Oh, this one's wrong here. Yeah, that one's wrong. I'm not a Photoshop expert. It's got to come off the right side. So where all these little boxes are, that's where the reader's gonna come off. It's gonna shoot up vertically to the designated Y height of that system, and then go, branch out from there, as opposed to like for instance, this one down here. I don't know if you can see where my cursor is. Probably not. What's a better cursor? This down here, right? I could, because it's just going to this node, I could have it like go on a diagonal across, but I think that's going to start to make things look really unclean and stuff like that. I think it's going to be clean to have like bus line, vertical lines going up, and then horizontal lines going across to the destination where they need to go. You could use slime and honey for color coding too. I don't know. Slime and honey are going to be used for the vertical lifters, so I don't want to confuse that color. So we're going to crisscross instead of spaghetti. Where would the crisscross be? Because they're all on their own vertical plane, there shouldn't be any crisscrossing? Or are you just making a joke at night? It's redstone lasagna. Yeah, let's look at it that way. It's lasagna instead of spaghetti. Now, it's unavoidable, right? It's unavoidable. It's going to be a lot of wiring that's going to be in here. It's inevitable. There's no way around it. So, couple things I want to start to organize, and I don't have a plan for that yet. We can kind of make the onions have layers. Couple things I want to do maybe is start picking colors for the various systems. And also picking the Y height for those, but that might need to be an off-stream thing, honestly, because I really got to think about that. And like, for instance, right, when we look at the treasure system, now the treasure line is going to go to both the floor droppers and to the cursed chests, right? That when you have a card that just says plus treasure or plus loot, it's gonna go to both systems. Now, if this is the module for one cursed chest system, you can see it, it goes to like, it basically is like at least here. So I can't put the Y height of this up higher. So I have to think about each system and where I want, how vertical friendly it is, if that makes sense. For instance, this one here, I've got to also run the game line over it too. So I have to figure out what height I want the game line to be at, what height I want the loot line to be at. And then there's going to be like, I'm going to run out of wide layers real quick is the problem, because I've only got like 30 blocks or so to work with here. But theoretically, this could all be much lower. But clearly, like, the loot line and the game line both have to be below this. So there's some things to figure out. Will there be lower areas like the crypt where you need to be careful with the height? Absolutely, yeah. There's going to be special cases, and the crypt is definitely a special case. So the crypt, you know, is going to be way over here someday, right? And this one's going to be interesting because it's going to break all the rules, unfortunately, because it's an underground level. So the crypt, right, probably somewhere in the back here, there's going to be like a big mausoleum or something like that. And then the crypt was actually going to go into the layer that is typically reserved for redstone. So the crypt is going to come all and be all in this back here. So I'm going to have to break all the rules and have all separate layers for the crypt and stuff. What I'm hoping to do maybe is just like drop everything by 20 blocks and keep the same system, but just lower. But yeah, it's definitely going to throw some curveballs. What about fence technology? I don't know. What about fences? I don't know what that means. Will the loot line need a writer as well as a reader to the main bus? The loot will not. The cursed chests will, and that's already. Woo! Almost caught that guy there. That's this line right here. That's the you opened a cursed chest and it was cursed line, and we talked about that earlier. So that is the outbound line, and that will go on the orange line because the orange line is inbound. So I don't want to use lime or orange as any of the system colors because I've already got those reserved for these bus lines here. But I am okay using like those colors and blue and stuff because they won't be in the same space. People saying fences probably mean walls, probably, yeah. It's gonna be said like over and over and over and over again. Okay. Oh, why do I still have my sword? So one of the things, you know, the other question was, okay, what do I want to use to run all these colored lines? And the two obvious choices are wool and concrete. Pros and cons of each, but I'm going to go with concrete. Wool I can get much easier because it's just overflowing from my sheep farm. But I don't, first of all, it requires a lot more dye to get the quantity that I need, because it's one die for one block as opposed to concrete is one die for 8 blocks. But the big thing with wool is it's a super pain to work with. If I change my mind and want to tear a lot of it down and redirect something, then I got to get out my stupid special shears and all that and everything. It's a pain, right? Wool is just a pain to break, and I don't want to have to carry a special set of shears around with me all the time. And there is the issue too, like I'm probably going to need to use lava for something somewhere, and that lava is going to spill, and whew, right, that will roast a huge portion of the wool real quick, because wool does not wait to burn. So I'm going to go with concrete. The downside of that, though, of course, is concrete's a lot harder to get, so I got to start making a lot of concrete and getting a lot of sand and all that stuff. So yeah. What about terracotta? I don't think terracotta is everything with terracotta is tinted red, if that makes sense, and they're more subdued. So I don't think I want vibrant, right? I'm going for functionality and identification, and I like the vibrant colors of concrete more than the kind of washed out red earthy tones of terracotta. Have you considered a donation area for hermits that would like to contribute? I'd consider it. Haven't done it. And wool burns, you know. Yeah, I know. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah. Glazed terracotta would be described as vibrant. It would be described as stupid, Nate. How frustrating is fire tick for you this season? I'll be honest, when we started the season, I was like, yeah, let's do it. It's a change. I definitely like fire tick off. 100%. Next season, I want it back off again, will be my vote. But I'm glad we did it for this season, especially because, you know, Pearl's doing the fire thing and everything, which is super cool. Resin block, too similar. Yeah, resin block's not a bad one either. I mean, they're kind of a little bit more expensive to get. But yeah, I could do that. One of the things I want to do is really amp up my resin farm. The resin farm we have is too slow. I want to make that a little bit better, because I don't think anyone has a resin farm on the server. So I'd like to be able to, you know, I already have it. I'd like to make it better. Oh, does Cleo have one? Okay. So yeah, I was debating building my concrete machine from season 9 and stuff like that, but yeah. I think instead we're just gonna go simple. Will there be creakings in the game? Yep. Yeah, so sorry guys, today's a lot of talky. We're not really doing much, but this is life. This is where we're at. I wanted to show you guys the thought process of where I'm at. I don't like redstone on no tool insta break blocks. Oh, on slime or something like that? Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I'm aware of the scams. Yep. Okay, so trying to think of what to do next. Let me start grabbing. Let's do colors, all right? Can we change the name of the end of game cleanup Snow Golem to Zamboni? That's amazing, Kamala. That's amazing. I don't think many people would get it, but I love that. We got to run the Zamboni. Clean the ice. That's so good. Yeah, let's make a system legend. That's what I want to do. Exactly, Secret. Or Scarlet, sorry, yeah. Let's start grabbing every color of concrete that we're going to use. So I'm not going to use lime or orange because those are the colors of the bus and I don't want them to be like confused. Let's see, we can do a brown. I want to go with the vibrant colors first. Oh, I don't want to use unfortunately I don't want to use green or white either. We might be using something else besides concrete because we're going to run out of colors. I don't want to use white or regular green because those are dedicated for the game active and system active line. Which I started using wool. I think I'm going to swap that out and just swap those out to well, I guess it's part of it, right? It's not an event, but it's a system, so we'll add it to the what do you call it here? All right. Let's see. Let's get a cyan in there. I got brown. We need a light blue. It's gonna take me like 9 years to get all the colors because I can't think of them. We have cyan. All right, we need pink. You know what? I'll put lime and orange in there too, just because they're part of the legend, if that makes sense. So let's get that in there. Let's get. Yeah, I'm looking for white. Oh, there we go. There's white. There we got pink. All right, we gotta make some concrete here. Give me some sand and some gravel and start making stuff. I got red. Let's make some pink. Let's make some orange. Let's make some white. Let's make some. Oh, we're all out. Magenta, yeah. What's up, Joey? How you doing? Rip orange. Did I just eat the orange? I think I probably did, yeah. Boom, boom, boom. And boom, boom. All right, we'll just do it this way. I don't know. I can't think right now. All right, so we got orange, white. I've already got red. We need pink. I need a green. I need a lime green. Let me get some more green here. I know I'm being super weird and slow in doing this. Oh, we got regular green, of course. Oh, here's all my colors. There's magenta. Let's get a purple. I'm gonna avoid gray and stuff for now, I think. Blue, did I not get blue yet? All right, I got cyan, I need blue, light blue, cyan, magenta, purple, Is that everything except the blacks and grays? Sand plus gravel duper would help. Yeah, it would. You must be new here. Lime. Did I not make lime yet? Okay. Boop boop. Did I? I thought I feel like I had. Yeah, I got a lime. Gah! All right, we need a shulker. Boom, 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 boom. Obviously, we'll convert the powder into regular blocks in a second. You've got inventory uses. Yes, yes, I do. All right. Lime. There's 16 colors, so... Isn't there 16 colors? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so it's just black and then the 2 grays right now. And I'm not sure I want to do those. Do I want to do the grays? I would say no, but then we're probably going to need more things. Let's go with this and see where we're at. Because I could do something that's like a resin. I don't think would be confused with orange because it's so textured and stuff. So there might be some like really, you know, glazed terracotta might work. But I think, yeah, let's see how we're gonna go with 13 for now. We'll see. All right, so let's take this and let's take some signs. I don't want those signs. I want those signs. All right, where should we put this? Because I actually want to like leave this. I want to have a place where I have the color coding, but I also have the you know, like, because I could do this 2 in 1. I could get the color definition, but I can also like stack the layers up too. So I show verticality and near the bus line. Yeah, it feels like it should be over here somewhere. Lines with 2 colors. Yeah, I know that would be nice. Maybe don't want to put it here because we may be extending the system down here later. I want to put it somewhere very visible. And I was thinking it might make sense to actually put it at this height so that the height I see it is the height of it really being in real life, if that makes sense. So I suppose we could put it, let's put it right here. Let's do that. I'm gonna grab some of this and we'll put it, it'll be up there at this height arbitrarily next to the Dungador. Yeah. What are we cooking today? Signs for labels too? I got signs, yeah. All right, so let me get the height of this. Oh wait, no, it's not there. What am I saying? This isn't where the redstone is. The redstone starts down there. Not the redstone's not in Greywick. All right, so that's not a good spot then. Is it better to have the densest lines up top or down low? That's a great question, Pitching Ross. I would say all other things being equal, it's better to have the denser lines at higher, because then if they're dense, that means there's a lot of vertical lines that, let me think. Yeah, because to go to each node would require an extra vertical thing. So if we had a system like Treasure that was really down low, then that means at every node there's a big, tall verticality thing going up to it. Where if we just raise the whole Y level of the treasure line, those become much shorter and less obscuring. So we need a better place to put this. How about... I'm always paranoid, like, oh, I might need that space. I might need that space. I guess it's not the end of the world if I have to move it. Thank you, Vanguard. Yeah, like I want to reserve this space here for more, because this is where the outgoing cards come out and get sent back up to their shelter box. I want to reserve a lot of space here. Maybe, yeah, let's do it right over there next to this. In fact, let me grab some stone. We're gonna place a little bit of stone, guys. It's gonna be exciting. You're gonna love it. More so than glass? Oh, it's exciting, yeah. How many rails have you placed? Lots. I don't know. Not as many as you'd think. Okay, we're just gonna do enough right now to get our little legend in place here. But I mean, I gotta stone up this area anyways. I don't like seeing the swamp. What % completion do you think you are right now? I mean, 2. No, it depends what you're talking about. If you're talking about the building of the map, we're only like 10, 15%. But if you talk about progress of the game, we're much farther along in that, because all the design work and systems design and tech and prototyping, all that stuff is done, so. Are you happy with the progress so far? No. Not at all. Nope. Very, very disappointed, and I thought I would be much farther along after 8 months or whatever it's been. 9 months. But I'm optimistic where we're at now, and we're like I said in the video, and I've said at the beginning of the stream, things are starting to click, and we're starting to plug systems together, and it feels like someone said it best. There was a comment in my video yesterday. Someone was like, it feels like the turning point between the part where you're preparing to build decked out and you're actually building decked out. And I know that's kind of like a little bit, sure, but it kind of is true. Like, now we're actually doing stuff and hooking things up and everything, and it's kind of cool, yeah. It's a lot of planning now. Yeah, you guys know me. I am plan, projecting to the future, foresee problems. That's what I'm all about, and that's why the beginning part is so slow. But a project of this scale, if you didn't do all the planning I'm thinking about, like, think about how much work we're doing here. And if I make one mistake, it could mean dozens and dozens of hours of work, right? Like, all the things I have to figure out how they integrate together and how they not fight each other and not get in the way of each other. And does this plan work for all the systems I have to do? Like, it's insane. It's insane how much has to be done. So it's time well spent. Just don't make mistakes. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the concretificator. Right next to the stripping corner. Doo-doo. Zonetic, thank you. Is that Zonetic? Is that how you pronounce it? Thank you so much. Seeing the diagram of the readers firing up system from the bus line was really cool. You're doing amazing work. So excited for Hermits to get into it. It's cool, yeah. I thought there would be quite a few of you that would appreciate just seeing that, like, that map and that kind of topology of how things are laid out. And I do that a lot. Like, I spend a lot of time in that Photoshop doing various things. And the cool thing about that I didn't talk about too, like when I do this, when I have this up here, like that's the treasure system, and you can see like the red lines would be a hypothetical, omen system. I can turn them on at the same time and be like, wait a minute, are there any two systems that, like, I wouldn't want to do I wouldn't want to go, oh, I put a treasure system right there. Oops, right? That's not smart, right? Because now I'm going to have two systems that touch the surface at the same place. So I'd have to be like, okay, let's rethink that. And doing this helps me identify those mistakes much quicker than later on. What are the red points again? Nothing. It was hypothetical. If I wanted that, like I was just talking about that could be like map shifts or something like that, but it's nothing real yet. After the vertical slice, will you be in big building phase? It's a good quit pitching, Roch. Like if I was just doing this in a silo and wasn't making videos, I would 100% stick to the vertical slice mentality and like I'm gonna get the complete game working in that area. But given that I have to make videos, I have to keep the videos kind of interesting, right? Because here's the downside: if I make that vertical slice, then all the secrets have been revealed, and there's nothing else that people are now. It's just like, okay, guys, I'm gonna have to finish building the rest of the 90% of the game. Please hold for another 5 months, you know. And so I say I'm working on a vertical slice. There's going to be a lot of building mixed in between there as well, too, to keep the flow and the pacing for video purposes, I think. Just got back from whale watching? Quite unsuccessfully, yeah. I've done whale watching quite a few times, and there's a lot of times where there's just not a whole lot of whales or watching. What? Saucy! They gave it 25! Holy cow! Thank you so much, Saucy. What about using bud detector on a stack of note blocks? What? For what purpose? I don't know what you're... Evil, that's funny. Okay. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to start to do this, and then I'm going to realize I'm just going to quit because I'm going to get frustrated and realize that this is an off-stream task. But let's hypothetically do this. Here we go. Did you know it's illegal to hunt buffaloes from a second-story window in Texas? I did not. I did not. And I don't know if you're making a joke or something about JFK or something. That's weird. Stone time is over. Yes, it is. I mean, we could do more stone time. There's plenty of stone that needs to be laid still. Okay. Now. These two... Oh no, white concrete powder! If only there was like just water close by where I could do this easily. Good thing I went to the concretificator. Treasure up top. Treasure as high as I can make it go. I mean, again, I can't have it go too high, but... Alright, it's all... There's no powder here, right? I think we're good. Okay, give me all this stuff. So, we got to fit everything in between this surface and that surface. And obviously, we really can't have much down here because of bus line stuff. So the way the bus line works, right, is the green line, the top line, is outgoing messages. The orange line is inbound messages into the system. But the readers are going to be... oh, wait, no. I think I'm lying. Hang on a second. I think the readers can fit in there. I haven't really done one. No, I think the readers might need to be pulled down below. I need to think about that. The readers for the orange line, I think, are going to be down here and come out the bottom because I don't think there's vertical space for them to fit in between there. So I really can't put any systems between, like, you know, these heights. The systems, when we talk about like where the spaghetti's going to go, really starts like you know, there, if that makes sense, because of all the bus line stuff. How much redstone wise there need to be between the layers? That's what we're trying to figure out right now. Yeah, Brett, exactly. Which is interesting, Brett. I don't know that I've designed a upside down reader. I hope it works. That's something I didn't plan for. Okay. So let's get, we know we have treasure. Let's try and get that in there. An Aussie reader, yeah. It should be the same risk. Yeah, I'm hoping it'll be. The only difference though is like the reader has, right, the redstone dust on top of it. So I'll have to put like, the inverted reader will actually require more height because there'll be another block below it to put the redstone on. So it's actually going to be 4 blocks tall, I think. I'm not sure. A little concerned. I definitely have to prepare or test that. Just joined. What are we doing, Jimmy? How you doing? For those who just joined, we did a little bit of talk about redstone design and layering and stuff. And now what we're doing is putting together a very first pass proposal of where each redstone system sits vertically. How many systems have you revealed yet to account for verticality? Yeah, I haven't. There's definitely some that I can't talk about today. All right, so believe it or not, the most common line is probably going to be the green line for game on. Now I am going to be running the green line. This is all going to be green concrete, not wool. I am going to run it adjacent to the bus line just so we have a main throughput. So it'll be like you'll be able to read the game signal from the bus like you would an event, even though it's not an event. But there's going to be a lot of game active lines going throughout everywhere, I think, because multiple systems are going to need that, right? Cursed chests are just the first one. A lot of systems are like, oh, the game turned off. I need to deactivate now my little node. So I'm thinking the game active line is actually one we want up near the surface within reason. I'm thinking game active, system active probably doesn't need to go to all the nodes as much. I might be making a mistake there, but I think it's game active that's really going to be the one the nodes want. So I think game active and treasure. Game active out there because it's kind of everything needs it, and then treasure because it's a very dense system. Does that make sense? Nobody knows. Everyone's just like, you're doing talk funny, man. Where's my new stone platform? So but the other thing too is I have to think about this is gonna be a pain. Like, I know, for instance, there are some unrevealed systems that I have to build many of and are very complicated. They're like, I want to say like a 7x7, and they're tall. So I think we're gonna just have to. I can't give up all that space. I think we're gonna have to just wire around those. How many systems are there in total? I don't know. Basically what I'm trying to figure out right now is how tall do I want my tallest layer to be? Like, I don't want it to be there. That's just way too close, and it's going to conflict with too many things. I think maybe like this height, like where that game on sign is, feels like a good layer that's going to be, it'll be below all of the treasure lines, but high enough to give me enough layers. Does anyone have any idea what I'm talking about? Watch out for the river. Oh yeah, river's a good point too. Let's if I did, let's see here. that. If let's just throw something down and see what sticks here, right? If this, and I'm gonna go into free cam just so I can move horizontally. If that was the top line and it was the game active line, that mostly goes under the river with a couple of exceptions, but I can go around that. That's starting to feel like a good top layer. I think maybe one less. Yeah, it just coincidentally happened to be the same line as that I had that sign there too. I think that's pretty good right there. Won't for like the swamp, which lays lower, the treasure drive. Yeah, the just the swamp is lower, but it's not lower than this. The only place that's going to be lower than this, I believe, is the crypt, and we already talked about that. Why run the game active line at the bottom when the whole line could be at the top? Oh, I think what you're saying is why run it on the bus and then just... Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Like, why run it adjacent to the bus only to be constantly lifting it up? Just run it at the height it's going to be. It's a little bit more congestion at... I guess the argument would be it's a little bit more congestion at this level. Because now I have to run it from here all the way down there, all the way branching out. But it does mean... a lot less verticality building, yeah. So, and I think that trade-off is worth it, yeah. So you're probably right. Like, see this right here? And again, I did torch towers for the game on because game on is not speed imperative. But it would reduce. I mean, I'm gonna if I go with the plan I have here of putting green at that height and putting it parallel to the bus line, there's gonna be like 50 of these. And I could avoid that just by taking this line and raising it to this height, which I think makes sense. What do you guys think? Do you need it at the bus for any reason? I mean, good point, right? If I put this up here, then man, there's so much to think about. This is, we're doing this live, and this is totally like a heads down off camera thing, but here we are. You're right. If I put this up here, then like we're in the process of defining our layering system, right? Theoretically, there's going to be a layer at this height. And if that system has high need of the game online, then that's a lot of descending lines I need to build, which I don't want to build either. So really what I should do is almost figure out what systems need access to the game active line and build them near the game active line. A bus height means the bus junctions get in the way. You need an adjacency matrix? I don't even know what that is. We're playing 4D chess here. We're playing 3D chess for sure. I suspect most systems won't need a game active line. I mean, I don't even think I have my document opened up. Oh, I do. I mean, let me see. Map shifts will, because when the game turns off, they all need to turn off. So they all need to be held active. I mean, unless I have an event that's just called game over, but that defeats the point of having the game active line. If I have a game over line, I have to run that everywhere. Let me a second. Let me move this over here so I can still see chat. Loot system needs it. That system does not need it. Corruption nodes need it. A lot of systems need it. How do you deactivate map ships during the game then? I haven't prototyped the map shifts 100%, Jake, but I think it's going to be basically an AND gate between game active and is this node temporarily active? Because when map shifts activate, they can activate, but then they can deactivate in the game as well too, which is different than Hazard and Decked Out too. So they'll be like, is the game active and is this node active? If so, activate the thing. If the node timer deactivates, then that AND gate will break and it'll, you know, that system. That's right, pitching rocks. Yeah. But it's a good question, Jake. That does make it more complicated at each node. So I don't know. Corruption nodes. I think. Yeah, right. Because if I've activated a corruption node beacon beam and it's at stage 3 or whatever when the game actives, they all need to go and reset. So corruption nodes need it. Another system is the monster release system. We're gonna have various places in the game, select cases where I release monsters into the map. I haven't figured those out. I haven't prototyped that. I mean, I've prototyped the release system, but those do not need to be game active aware because they don't shut down. They only have an event which triggers that says release a monster. That system and that system definitely do. Corruption nodes are a good candidate to put very low because there's not many of them and they don't need access. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Because there's not many of them, they probably go low. Let's start hypothetically just spamming things against the wall here and we'll see how it feels. This is we're not going anywhere here. I know. Like I said, this is too complicated for me to be doing on stream, but here we are. All right. What is my bottom height? This song irritates me. The game active line turning off is how they know the game has ended. Correct, yeah. Do map shifts really need game active? Don't they need to reset at game end? Yeah, those are the same thing. They need to know that the game is not active to know to reset. Yeah. Wouldn't it reach a point where it's just better to run 2 parallel lines, one above, one below? Maybe. Length Enks, I can't pronounce your name, but maybe. But I think my first pass is going to be to try to just cluster the systems that need game active together. If it turns out that 80% of the systems need it, then yeah, then maybe what you're saying is true, yeah. The high and low tap, yeah. The other thing I was thinking about too is like, there's nothing, because the game active line only turns on once and turns off we don't have to worry about like performance. I could technically run the game active line in more places. Like I could run it around the perimeter of the game where there's no bus line just for more convenient access points for things that are near the wall to just tap into easily instead of running lines from the main, bus line all the way across the map. So I might do that, have like a game active line running in more places, I think, because down like where I am right here, there's not going to be much stuff going over here. So if I did a game active line here, it'd be an interesting place for things to tap into. Perimeter redstone makes me think of Decked Out too. Yeah. But I think it makes sense for something like, game active or something like that. One second. Sorry, my windows got all messed up. Consider having both game active and system on to use daylight detectors. Put them on top flat map. You can have and or logic. I mean, I don't know what you're saying, I guess, but I mean, if you're saying a way to wirelessly send the signal down, I think there would be too many holes necessary for that. One big reason for the high and low is nodes benefit from being low, but game active controls the doors for the iron golems holding ravagers too, which are forced to be high due to nature. yeah, there's gonna be a lot of things that like have to be at the surface, and that's why I'm hopefully designing most of the systems to receive their signal straight down, verticality wise. If that makes sense. No, pretty much, Jake. Yeah, that's the quote. Anabears doesn't make sense to me either, so join the club. Anyways, I feel like corruption nodes is a good one to put. We'll say purple is corruption nodes because that makes sense, right? Or magenta. Let's go purple. So we put corruption nodes. We'll say that's. We're gonna move these around. We're just kind of getting relative heights right now. I could use Skulk. That's not a horrible idea. It's very indicative of, but does it, let me see how Skulk plays with everything. I think that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. It's very dark. Kind of a pain to break, right? If I want to break a bunch of it. How fast does Skulk break? It's not horrible. It's not horrible. I'm not going to carry a hoe. Obviously, a hoe's quicker. I know. I know. Here come 1,000 comments saying a hoe was faster. Who carries a hoe with them except Skiz, right? But Skiz carries, you know, bamboo with them. Faster than concrete? Is it? No, concrete's faster. I think Skulk's slightly slower. Obviously, I'm not carrying a hoe. It's a possibility you have to break the stone floor to accommodate. Yeah, I've already had that thought. I'm really trying to avoid it, but there is a case where some systems are down here, and I would hate that. But there is this space if necessary. How do we feel about running redstone on Skulk? I kind of don't hate that. I like it. What's wrong with down there? What's wrong with down there is it's kind of going below. It's all hidden. And I'm going to start running into a lot of digging issues and just, you know, oh, I got to dig dirt. And it's a mess down here. Like I specifically put this stone layer here to make it not feel like I was in a swamp. Do you have any armor trims? 0. Sorry. All right. Let's do that. Boom. And this is corruption nodes. So the problem is, and this gets back to like a system I call the activation system. It's just an internal system for how some of this stuff works. I'm not going to go into a lot of details on this, but just so you know what I'm struggling with or thinking about. One of the big issues with a lot of systems is there's a lot of cases where I need to say, turn on one of these. And there's no good way to do that, right? Because I can't have, for instance, let's hypothetically say there's 15 corruption nodes in the game, right? It's a non-trivial problem to turn on one of them because I can't allocate an event for each one, right? The straightforward approach is just to have a central corruption system that generates which one and sends like, okay, activate corruption node 12. But I don't have that bandwidth on my bus to have that many events for all the different systems that have that much variety. So what it means is I have to like send out an event that says corruption activate, but the systems don't know about each other. So they might go, I activated, right? Token ring with different item filter. I don't know what that means. So it's tricky, right? It's like I can't, from the systems, I can't tell a specific node, we'll call it. This applies to a lot of systems, to activate. So it gets tricky. I've come up with a system I'm not super happy with that's basically like, all right, system, activate. And they all have a chance, independent chance. And if they do activate, they send a message back that says, I turned on. Someone else might say, I turned on too. And the system keeps track of how many are active, but it doesn't know which ones, if that makes sense. But it's a very tricky problem. Unless you make every node have an individual signal. Right, which I can't do. I only have like so many events, and if I started to do that, I'd run out of events super quick. And yes, I could have another bus system that sent data or something, but yeah, there's no good solution to it. Can you use item filters to ID which ones you want? It's not a question of determining how to choose. It's a question of how do I send that information out to the field to uniquely identify, okay, node 12, you're activating. You'd have to do some kind of serial encoding or have a data line, which is more bus work, or it's just, there's not a simple way to do it. Yeah, Risk. There's ways to encode it, whether it's serial encoding or whether it's like, you know, maybe I send out the, you know, I send out the corruption node event 3 times in sequence, followed by a terminator message that says I'm done sending it, and then the nodes, each node has to, like, there's ways to do it. I mean, that's just basically serial flashing, but then if I do that, now I'm locking up my bus line for quite a while and stuff like that. So yeah, every one of these comes with a downside. So anyways, that's one of the big problems that I'm having to deal with. Corruption nodes is definitely one of them. If you got ideas, I'd like to hear them later, Brad. We can talk. So I guess what I'm getting at is that there's not just a message that says corruption node activate. There's actually multiple messages to activate a corruption node, and they're probably going to be in different directions. Yeah, sorry guys. I think this might be too much for me to do on stream. This is why I don't do things like this on stream, because they really require me to concentrate and think of a bunch of things, and it's not making for. Some of you may find this interesting, but most of you have no idea what I'm talking about, and I'm just rambling. So I think I'm going to put this on hold, as expected. Olivia, thank you. Decided to learn skating after hearing your hockey story? Amazing! 7,000 pounds later, 7 sticks, upgraded all my gear, got myself some top power skates, several games played, recently played 10 days in a row. Telling you, there's nothing like ice hockey. It's a whole different experience. Oh, I'm so happy for you, Olivia. Thank you. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. You just changed your life. Starkey Warrior, thank you for the piece of pie. Can you have it turn on at the start of the line and at splits off the line? Words in redstones don't work. Splits off the line to the nodes. Only one split can turn on. I've joked about this with friends. Like, the English language is the worst possible way to describe redstone. The worst. Sorry, Starkey. I appreciate your generosity, but I have no idea what you're talking about. ODG, thank you. Can we add what? Can we add carved into a tree? I don't know if you're making a joke. I have no idea what you're saying. Okay, this doesn't work. Yeah, sorry guys. I'm gonna leave this. Where's my shulker? Hello? Oh, it's right there. I can't do this on stream. This is gonna require way too much thought and hours of planning, so it's on hold. Unfortunately. This is a thinking task, yeah. It's a stand here and think back and forth for a lot. These are specifically the things I don't do on stream. So now we can build the map, right? Build the map, what do you mean? You almost need all the corruption nodes connected to a smart AND gate, but that's a lot of, yeah, you can't do that. That's way too much, yeah. How many total messages you have right now? I have an idea. I don't know, Brad. I don't know. I have a spreadsheet where I'm starting to, but I haven't sat down and say, let's try to come up with all the messages. Because coming up with all the messages is very specific to how I'm going to implement all the systems, and I don't have those answers all yet. So, so yeah, I think it might be time to make a ton of concrete, everybody. I was informed of a way to make concrete that's actually really smart that I'm sure you guys are all like, yeah, that's the way you do it, idiot. But I think it's actually better. Let's grab 1, 2, 3, 4. How much sand do I have? Oh, hey, there we go. All right, shulker time. Bloop. Does it involve TNT? No. Does it involve stripping? No. Sorry. So one of the things I can do, though... Oh, I already have shulkers upon shulkers of this stuff. Yeah. Bloop. All right, we got that. I'm going to need lots of dyes, though, so let's get all my dyes. Music check. I know, it stopped. What time are we at here? We got a little bit of time. Playlist. Let's go over to... Sure, that one works. Could each corruption node have some sort of counter that counts from 0 to the total number of nodes? Each node has a unique index that can send a global cycles node command to just count up 1 on all the nodes, and when you send the active corruption node, only the one whose index matches the count. I think I see what you're saying, Liama. Are you talking about, like, the nodes would... Like, this is the way, if you could guarantee, we'll talk about corruption nodes, but it works for any system. If you can guarantee, if you have n nodes within a system and you want to activate one at a time, if you can come up with an alternative way to have those nodes exclusively activate, like almost in serial or in sequence, you know, so if there were 10 nodes in the system, if it went 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and, you know, maybe every 10 seconds or so, they shifted. Again, this requires a ton of redstone too, but they shifted, activating. Then, yes, you could just send out the activate message on the bus line that says, hey, activate, knowing that only one of them will currently be active. That would work, but that other system requires a lot more redstone, and they all have to be interconnected and stuff like that too. I could have one message that was like, I mean, I suppose that's an idea, right? You could have one message that is, we'll just call it rotate, right? Rotate the active node to the next node, and that's going out once every 15 seconds or so. And then another message that's just like activate. That could theoretically work. But it is now I got to send 2 events to every node, you know? So I don't know. Brain stuff. All right, I need a lot of dyes. I mean, we got a lot of this already, so let's convert all this stuff. Bloop. Bloop. I didn't realize I had so much powder already. Skizzle Man, join the game. And how would you sync that? Sync what? The rotate thing would just be an event that went off periodically to... I mean, I guess there could be an edge case where one is deactivating and the other one is activating, and those could overlap, if that's what you're saying. Maybe I don't know what you're saying, Jake. Anyway. What else do we have for powder? I don't need that. I do need that. Sure, we'll take that. Just give me all the powder that I want. Yeah, Dead Knight. We'll talk afterwards. My brain's full on the solutions for that right now, if I'm honest. But yeah, I will seek some ideas later. All right, what do we need? Let's grab blues, reds, greens, some lime, some orange. Let's grab some more orange, because I didn't get a full stack there. I mean, a full stack is going to get me 8 stacks of concrete, so that's quite a bit to get started, I think. All right, let's play the color identification game again. We need this and this. Give me that. What else? What else? I need the purples, which means I need reds and blues. And then magenta is like 2 blues, 1 red. What's magenta again? Oh, is it a white? I think there's a white in there, right? Yeah. Oh, we got pinks, right? Pink. And more white. Magenta. Not with that. No. This. I know how to color. I need reds. Reds. This is painful. OMG. Click. What? Is that not? How do I make magenta? I thought it was this in white. Is it pink and purple? No, it's not. Purple and pink. Purple. It is, just like I said. Okay. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. I need a little bit more. Let's get a little bit more pink. All right, what else are we missing? We got the purples, we got the pinks, the reds, the blues, we got light blue, we got the 2 greens, we got the orange. What else am I missing for concrete? Pro Minecrafter, that's right. Brown. Yeah, let's get some brown. Doink. Cyan. Feel like yep, there we go. Yellow. Is that starting to feel like all of them? What else are we missing? Cyan, yellow, orange we got. Oh, I need white. Let's get white, of course. Just straight white. Black and gray we're not using as of right now. Or did I have black in the... I don't think I had black in the box, right? Yeah, we're skipping the grays. I think that's good. Skulk, well, Skulk, we don't need to craft Skulk, obviously, so... all right. Let's go. So now, what I need is a puddle and a beacon. I don't think I have any beacons, so what I want to do is make a little concretificator. And I think back here will probably work. Which means I gotta set up a beacon back here. Let's go grab do I have... I got the ender chest. Let me grab some iron. I need a puddle. Yes. Puddle tech. All right, where's a good section where... Maybe over here. It looks tall over here. Plus, you know, free sand. Man, maybe I want to save the sand and dig that out. I'm so indecisive today. Let's do it. Let's do it there. Do it here. Let's set up a beacon first. Slammy! Oh, I have my sword on me. I'm so powerful. I never have my sword on me. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Punch the children. Beacon, 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 beacon. Let me put my sword away. I ain't got time for that. Arbitrary, doesn't matter. Stupid grass. Oh, I found a new game. I want to talk about it while I'm building a beacon. You guys might like this. The game, because I have to do my service when I find new games that I like, I have to share them with you guys. The new game, hold on, brain. The new game is called Feed the Scorch Pot. If you're a fan of Settlers of Catan and you're a fan of Balatro, I highly recommend you check this game out. It is a combination of those two games, if that makes sense. On the surface, it looks a lot like Settlers of Catan, but then once you get into it, you realize it's got a lot of Balatro too. It's an interesting combination. It's called Feed the Scorch Pot. The idea is there's a dragon you have to feed. You go through years and seasons. You play Catan and like harvest the land basically, and every year you have to feed the dragon, and if you don't feed the dragon, you die. It's just a metaphor for the whole thing. It's really cool. I might have played it till about 3:30 in the morning last night, and I might have want to play more. Super cool game though. So if you like those two things, if you like, kind of like building out powerful systems and stuff like that, like, like that runaway systems like Balatro gets, you'll like this game. Oh, there will also be, I think tomorrow, how's the hockey? We're between seasons right now and I'm having withdrawals and I'm very sad. We don't need to talk about hockey. Tomorrow there should be a stream, I think, with Imp and Skiz and I. What's the name of the game again? One more time. It's called Feed the Scorch Pot. Feed the Scorch Pot. Tomorrow, I think I got another game I picked out that looks amazingly fun. Super silly game. Not Hermitcraft, Minecraft related at all, but I think I'm going to play it with Imp and Skiz, I think, tomorrow. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is the most inefficient. This is what happens when I talk and try and make a beacon at the same time. There will not be a stream Wednesday. I got a doctor's appointment and stuff and a lot of other things going on that day, so it's a very busy day for me. So I won't be streaming Wednesday. I know, right? That I typed in chat. I'm not allowed to do that. Help. What's happening with the world right now? What am I doing wrong? Why can't I? Do you need to expose the beam before you do this? You don't need that. Do you really? I play Minecraft, everybody. Hey, zombie, I'm working over here. Let's go through one of my mini holes. Minecraft Pro. Minecraft Pro. I honestly thought you could configure it before before you poke the hole. Okay. We've got beacons. Is there anything regarding the treasure system that you are unhappy, uncertain with at the moment? It's a good question. Yeah, I wish there was a better way to do it. I wish there was a way, and I'm not trying to spark this conversation because I don't want to get into it kind of thing, but I wish there was a bit better way to make loot appear in truly random locations, you know, as opposed to like just having known locations. Like I hate the, you know, I'm going on the loot cycle and they just go between points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because they've memorized where all the loot drops. There's no way around it. And don't suggest wind charges, please. You're gonna make me want to punch something. Would you say you're a bit of a dice goblin? Ace, do you mean, do I collect dice for like D&D and stuff? No, I don't. Okay. Let me get a little bit of a catch basin. Use wind charges! What do I want to make this out of? I think just stone works. Maybe I'll do obsidian right underneath it just to make sure. Give me some crying? Crying's cheaper? Crying? And then we'll just say stone bricks. Have you heard of Discount Dan at all? Nope. Is that a game? What is that? Have you seen my this farm? What are these things called? Vines? It's amazing. You're impressed. All right, let's get rid of some of this noise. Very impressed. I feel like there's a pun there, but I can't think of one right now. All right, let's do... I don't want to go anywhere near... Indecisive Tango's indecisive. I don't want to get close to the game or the entrance to Greywick, which is over here. We're going to arbitrarily pick this spot. Bam. It works. All right, let's do a little bit of this. I'm putting in like way too much effort into something that doesn't need this much effort, but you know, here we are. Yeah, that's fine. Now we need a little catch basin. Divine, yeah, it's divine. Yeah, there's the pun I was looking for. What am I building? I don't really know. No, I'm actually building a super low-tech concretificator. It's just going to use gravity instead of the hold right and left click thing. But I want to have, so if we're just gonna, this is going to be water. It's going to stack up to there super high. How far out will a block fall? Probably at least 3 blocks out, right? Will the sky have moon? No. The sky will be black and just black. All right, if I flood this and there's concrete, here's the idea, right? Concrete is just like this, stacked up super high. So as it falls, it's falling into this one wide here, and I'm just going breaking the bottom, and it falls down. If it's stacked up, you know, all the way up to there, what's the maximum lateral trajectory? I think it'll fall here. I think it'll be good. We'll find out, I suppose. Will the sky have villagers? What? No, not enough stone. Stone. Wow, I accidentally scooted through the bus there. Didn't even mean to. Is there a lore reason for the black sky? No. Nighttime? No lore at all. It's not like, oh, eternal darkness is cast upon the land. It's more just the game looks spookier when you have a dark sky, I think. That's pretty much it. Yep. Night sky spooky. Nighttime confirmed. Yes. On the topic of routine gameplay, would you consider making hazard in a way... We don't use the word hazard around here. Would you consider making hazard in a way that there is no one default open path? Maybe the system knows... Yes, Rizzy. So I think I talked about this in the path. In Decked Out 2, I subscribe to the mentality that there always has to be a way out of the dungeon. It was not a pleasant route, generally. But there was always a consistent route, and players learned that route, and... This time around, I'm basically... Because the difference was in Decked Out 2, once a hazard closed, it never reopened again. In Decked Out 3, most of the hazards will be temporary. I don't know what the duration is, and don't make assumptions based on what temporary means, but all I'm saying is that when I activate a hazard wall or something, it could deactivate. And what that opens up for is now I'm perfectly okay with enclosing the player in and not having a consistent way to get out, which I think will add a lot more chaos and panic. But it does mean that yes, there will become a point where they may be trapped, but it's not like you're going to be trapped in a room and you can't get out. It's going to be more like I'm temporarily trapped in the slums and for 30 seconds kind of thing, and then one of the gates will open up. Reversible or resettable seems a better word. Debatable. I don't know. Did you ask B-Dubs to put the anti-spoiler wall back too? No, I haven't given B-Dubs a anti-spoiler wall or something. I'll get that all to him, yeah. All right. Water. Go grab a couple buckets. Have you considered a way for a player to fight back? Absolutely not. Ooh, I need rockets. Tango, is Decked Out 3 map or Decked Out 2 bigger? I don't know. I think, well, yeah, no, I do know. Decked Out 3 is way bigger. But Decked Out 2 was vertical, so it was hard to... But if you took all of the space of Decked Out 2 and flattened it out, it would be way smaller than Decked Out 3. Adesio, thank you for the piece of pie. Thought it'd be cool if certain areas were only accessible at specific points during the game, like only when fear is within a certain threshold. I remember the moon being an idea for way back. Do you have other ideas to achieve that kind of thing? Yeah, I like that a lot, Adesio. And in fact, I want to have like cards too, that cards might open physical doors. I don't mean a door like a wooden door in a house, but pathways may open up because you played a card, right? And we'll get into all that more later for sure. But I also like the idea of, yeah, when this way may only be open when your fear is high. Maybe it's some kind of like illusionary wall or something. I don't know what I'm saying right now, but something that ties it to fear or something like that. But yeah, areas of the map that are contextually available is fantastic. I love it. Does this mean you'll have more exploration-based decks? I wouldn't go so far as to say exploration, but there will be cards that favor mobility. Like, I'm pretty sure we're going to have the Soulways for those that, I mean, I haven't talked about that in video yet, but this is a stream only thing. I think we're going to do the Soulways, and gaining access to the Soulways will be something that your cards can heavily manipulate and optimize, if that makes sense. How do I do this corner stuff? I always forget. It's like this. I'm getting Iron Farm flashbacks here. It's always confirmed. I don't know. We'll see. Two by two in the corners. Flat. I'm sure you're ahead of me as usual, Jake, but I'll catch up. Give me time. Would you do the egg hunt again? Probably not. A lot of people like, this is where I think I differ from most of the viewers, is anything that was kind of successful with Decked Out 2, people ask, is it coming back, or will I be doing that thing again? And I know people like, oh, that was successful, let's do that again, but I don't want to repeat Decked Out 2. I want Decked Out 3 to be very different. And just hope that there will be other things that are the Easter egg hunt, you know? I don't want to copy things just because it's successful. I want it to be unique and different. But yes, I will hopefully have things that capture that sentiment, if that makes sense. Do these connect? That's good enough. All right. And yeah, like when I have to make a system that is similar to Decked Out 2, like some of the treasure drops, makes me sad. I don't want to do that. Oh, that doesn't work. All right, we need one more water here. This is gonna mess up the flows here, but all right, if I do one here, it solves that problem, but well, that's fine. I'll be picking up all this stuff, so we're good. I think this works. There are I know you guys, I hate when I say this, but there are still many big changes to how Decked Out 2 is played that is very different, or Decked Out 3 compared to Decked Out 2. A lot of things you guys are probably assuming are not true. Some of those things will be coming up in the next few episodes. You could give us a spoiler. I could, but I won't. At the end of your video, you mentioned building a mansion on the mountain. Can we expect that in the next episode or two? I know there's a lot to do before that. Yeah, okay, so Vanguard, yeah, I'll be honest, when I ended the last video, I was like, oh, next thing I'm going to do is build the mansion. I really want to do it soon because it's gone too far into the season without me having a base. But something came up that I have to do first. So I'm going to do that other thing first, and then I'm pretty sure I'll be building the mansion episode after next. All right, does this work? All right, I think this is the system here. Yes, it does mean I have to pre-stack everything. Oh, a jump boost beacon would be nice here too, right? Should we do that? Should we add a jump boost beacon here for the stacking? That might be good, yeah. Later, Physics Ghost, and thank you so much. Really appreciate you today. Thank you so much for the generosity, Physics. Have a good one. Tango, I know you talked about Decked Out 3 being potentially set in a wizard tower source. What led you to change that to Greywick? Good question. I think once I sat down, I said I really want an iconic theme and setting. And I've always been a huge fan of the dark gothic horror setting, like for those who play D&D, like Ravenloft kind of setting. I've never played Ravenloft. I really want to, but that dark haunted thing, it just really hits home with me, and I love it, and I thought I could nail it, so I went with that instead of the wizard tower thing. What's in the map area? Oh, I started to add netherrack to cover up peek holes because a lot of people are peeking through there, and I started to do that, and then I got tired, so I may continue that more. Wizard Tower, Karazhan. Yeah, with less. I mean, this is all hypothetical, right? What I was originally talking decked out 3 might have been, but I was saying it. The original idea for decked out 3 was super verticality, like bedrock to build height, 15, 20 floors, and you play the game by entering in the ground floor, and instead, like decked out 3 was you go down into the dungeon. This one would be you climb the tower, and every floor would have a very distinct feel and look and theme, but the floors would be much smaller. I still like that design principle. I think it'd be really cool because you could have 10, 15 different settings all kind of intermingled. It's challenging to bring them together in a cohesive theme, but it could be done, I think. But yeah, I think something like that would be cool. Plus, there's some redstone benefits of having everything closer and vertical. You just run all your redstone vertically along the sides of the tower and stuff. But yeah, Karazhan was one of my favorite raids as well too. I mean, yeah, I love that back in the day. Is the handheld map fully planned out already? It has 0 planned out. Yeah, I know nothing about it, Lord. The only thing I know is I don't want it to be just simple progress bars. I want to try to make it be more gamified, more iconic, a little more. I mean, I was happy with the art like Aureolix did for me. It was great, but it was she did what I asked her to do. But I don't want it to be simple progress bars. I want it to be more like maybe an eye or something like that. I don't know, whatever, more symbolic. No, I mean, Karazhan was, I'm thinking more like if I was to do this tower thing, I mean, forget the fact that I said wizard, right? Because it's not. It's more just a tower of floors, and each floor is completely different, right? One floor might be the fire floor. The next floor might be the mushroom forest. The next floor might be a custom shrouded biome, like completely disparate. Every floor plays completely different. Like, that's interesting to me. What am I doing here? Oh yeah, jump boost. Do I want jump boost or not? Do you need water in all 4 corners so you don't fight the water when mining concrete? I'm not going to be fighting the water. I got depth strider boots and stuff, so I don't have to move that far. I think jump boost might be nice, but it's such a small percentage of the time that it doesn't really matter. Will there be geyser technology? There will be geysers in the swamp, but I don't think I'll be using any technology with them, if that's what you mean. Hey, Tango, do you have plans for a quarter of some kind where witches appear to rain down potions when a threshold is met? Nope. Trying to decide what I want to say right now. Yeah, so witches, we're gonna have an area. You guys know I'm having a witch themed area, and Pearl is gonna be doing the entrance to that. I'm very excited. But you guys know I have 3 types of mobs that I am able to collect and release into the dungeon unnamed and just kind of spam out there. I have zombies, I have cave spiders, and I have witches. And I want to use them all. Obviously zombies, unfortunately the spawner is over there, and I want to release them in the graveyard over there. So there's going to be that system where they have to get delivered by minecart and stuff like that. I'll be 100% honest. I don't have slam dunk answers for where the witches and the cave spiders are going to be distributed yet. I have ideas that I don't want to talk about, but certainly it's not as clear cut as the zombies are. Hey Tango, has Ravager fuel been tested with multiple simultaneously? No, not yet. Yeah, no, there's a lot of concern. People have a lot of concern that they're going to get jammed up and stuff. We'll see. I obviously have to balance the amount of... I'm going to get mobs spawning up there and creepers coming down on my head. That's what's going to happen. I obviously have to balance the amount of Ravagers that one snowman is going to attempt to pull out. What do we think? Is it just a new way to make concrete? Not new to some of you. Some of you guys like to prefer the hold method. Maybe it's better. I don't know. Probably better. At least this way here I can bulk up a lot more and I don't have to change every stack. I hate having like, because with the hold method, I guess if I could make a dropper system that released powder to me that would auto fill my right hand, that's probably slightly better, but why not TNT? Because I don't dupe. And building a machine that's that complicated, it takes quite a long time. And it always has the risk of blowing up, and it's just not worth it, in my opinion. Probably not the most efficient way, but it's what I'm going to do. You like my season 8 maker? I thought it was season 9, or it was season 8 and 9. I remade it again. I didn't show it that much. Yeah, I made it first in season 8, the concretificator, and then I remade the exact one in season 9, and it was underground on the outskirts of Decked Out Snowy area. I don't know if you guys remember it, but yeah, I didn't show it that much. I just needed it because I just made it like one day, like off camera, I think. How was Mumbo's art gallery visit? It was great. There were too many people there, Ender. I don't know. I assume it's showing up in people's, What's up, Froggy? This is the happiest frog ever right now. Look at him. Woohoo! He's just like, yeah, I'm swimming. Yeah, I assume, it's showing up in people's videos where we did the art gallery tour and stuff. It was great. It was a lot of fun, but yeah, there was way too many people there. I didn't include it in my videos because it was just... Soon as I knew there was going to be 20 people there, I was like, yeah, this is not actual content, in my opinion. Except for, like, maybe Mumbo. You've seen 4 POVs already? Yeah. I didn't want to include it because I knew it would just be like, yep, you've seen it all. Skiz's Cub impersonation. Yeah. Impression. He does a good one. All right, let's do yellow. Oh, I need a crafting bench over here for me to make the powder. It was Mumbo's content. Yeah, exactly. There was no, and it's like there were so many people that it's not like I could really talk or anything. It was just kind of like, I was there to experience it, but it's fine. But I love the look of his interior. Is fantastic. Yeah, he did a great job on the interior of it. Really cool. Starting to think it might be better just to, well, it's a question of how much of this I want to like pre-stack up. I was going to say just doing like 3 wide would be more efficient to harvest it, but I wouldn't be able to stack up as much. Exterior was fantastic too. Sure. But I did ask Mumbo. I don't know if it was caught on anyone's, but I'm hoping he does updated photos. Because once I build my mansion, I definitely want... Like, when he took the photos, it was like there was nothing of my base that, oh, there's a mountain with a tentacle. Like, that's not... So once I build the mansion, I'm hoping he goes back and retakes that spot. I think it'll be fun. It gives me a new portrait. Grumpy, thank you for the 5 gift subs. I didn't see that before. Do you think hermits will have more map knowledge from spoilers this time around? Yeah, probably. Deck 2 was easier to hide because it was underground. Like, you didn't casually see the map. Like, to look at Deck 2, you had to free cam, you know, or that kind of thing. Where here, it's just like, it's a little hard not to see it. So, it is what it is. It's part of the decision. Copper Golden Wheat Field, yeah, that was a beautiful one. It's Mama's favorite, and it is the best one, I think, yeah. You built the mountain as a spoiler wall? Yeah, but, you know, it's 1 block pixel, and people want to, I don't know, it's just easier to see through this than to go looking 50 blocks underground. Scar running through it. Yeah, I know. Scar will always be Scar, though. I mean, even in Decked Out 2, he was the one that came down to, you know, he always came down in the hole. Any other questions before I get hours and hours into the concretificating? The loot system, yeah, I guess, am I happy with the loot system? I think so. I feel like there might be one more layer on top of it, because like right now we've got like floor drops and we got cursed chests. I feel like something, I don't know what it is, but something's tugging at my brain that's like, we need a third way to distribute loot that's also rare. I don't know what that would be yet or anything, but we'll see. Maybe not. Maybe these 2 will be sufficient. I mean, it's already better than Decked Out 2. Plenty of questions, many you won't answer. I mean, maybe. You can ask questions. I may not answer them. Cursed treasure was a good idea. Forces player to make choice. Go. Yeah. I think. Oh, the cursed treasure thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit weird because like, do I force the treasure into their inventory? There's no way to force an item into their inventory, right? I can like try to put a dropper item in the floor that hits them and they pick it up, but that's super arrow prone. So to put cursed treasure in the chest, but it's like, you have to pick this up and go cleanse yourself. Feels a little awkward because it's like, well, I don't want to pick it up. Why am I picking it up? You know, so it's some of it feels a little janky. There's some interesting gameplay there, but just joined. You can put armor on them, leather armor on the player. Yeah, and so at the blacksmith, you'll be able to buy some low armor potentially. Did Mrs. T ever make dashboard cookies? No, I'm super disappointed. There's cookies in the fridge waiting to be made. And it's gonna be 115 this week, so maybe she'll do it, but she doesn't seem as interested. Are all chests going to be cursed? All the chests that are surrounded by skull will be called cursed chests, whether they are cursed every run. Most will not be cursed every run, but they have the potential to be cursed. There will be other chests that are just decorative that are, you know, around that aren't going to be loot. They're just there. Do you snore at night? Yes, I do. You plan to build player detectors? Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I guess the other thing here's another thing I'm going to talk about with loot is for a while I was planning on loot being like loot would only drop in the area that you are in. And I started thinking about that a lot. And first of all, there's a couple systems that kind of fall into that category of like, do I want to do the thing only near the player? And I'm speaking generically right now because things like, you know, adding monsters to the map. Do I only want to do that near the player? There's an argument for and against that for sure. You know, do I only want to drop loot near the player. There's an argument for that for sure. I think in the end, I've decided that for loot, this is not for all of the systems that share this quality, I guess, but for loot, I'm not going to only drop it near the player. I'm going to drop it everywhere. The main reason, there's a couple reasons, but the main reason for that is I think if I only drop it near the player, the players will quickly learn that there's no reason to explore, right? Like, oh, I'm in the slums in Greywick and I'm picking up loot. I want them to be like, should I extend my run and try and get more loot by going over to the other sections of Greywick that I haven't been yet? And if they learn that loot is only distributed near them, they're going to be like, no, I'll just stay here and loop through the slums again. And that's not fun. You could make the argument that, yeah, sure, but once they go over to the other sections of Greywick, then loot will start dropping there. Yes, but I think it's better if there's loot is potentially there already for them. I don't know. It's an interesting decision. But anyways, the other issue is loot is much more closer to unlimited. It's easier for me to make a lot of loot, and I don't care if some of it is wasted, where monsters are not unlimited. So monsters probably will spawn near the player, because spawning a monster, like adding a monster that's 200 blocks away from the player, serves almost no point. They'll almost definitely despawn by the time the player gets there, where spawning loot 200 blocks away from the player is less chance of being wasted, because it's 5 minutes for them to get over there. You will so need to refill those shulkers. Not if you do the math, Jake, right? If I fill up a shulker and a dropper and a hopper, do you have any idea how many runs that is? Keep in mind that most droppers are not going to be firing 10 times a run. Like, it's an astronomical amount of game runs before that runs out of loot. Anyway, so yeah, I think loot's gonna drop everywhere, which it makes things easier, right? So at least for loot, I don't need to have a system that tracks where the player is, because this is another system that's non-trivial. Knowing where the player is and turning on and off certain subregions for things like dropping loot and monsters. So I'm a little bit punting on that problem right now. I have a very good player detector I've showed off, but hooking that up to like a central system so that like the monster spawning system is aware, is my sub-zone or sub-region activated right now, so therefore I should ignore the monster spawn event, gets tricky, or I don't have a good solution for it yet, at least. Punting confirmed, yeah. So anyways, short answer is loot will drop. I think loot will just be like, when a loot event goes out, every loot system in the game for zones that are unlocked. There's a difference between where the player is and what zones are unlocked. So I think I've talked about that. I know I've talked about this. When the game starts, like, the swamp won't be activated. Players are going to have to do something to unlock the swamp so that it is unlocked in future events, and that's part of the metadata that's in there associated with their player token and stuff like that. So I won't drop loot in zones that are completely deactivated, because that's of course completely wasteful. They have no chance of getting it, but for all the zones that are active, I'll probably be dropping loot. Did y'all make the player detector purely vanilla without plugins? Yes and no. It's not vanilla. It uses the armor stand data pack we have, and I'm using it because it's amazing. All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up, guys. I'm getting a little tired, and my voice is starting to die, as you can tell. Any other questions before? Revelo, thank you so much. Another piece of pie that I missed. Love the idea of putting a few Mumbo pictures as hints in the game. Like there's a poem somewhere telling you to blow a horn somewhere in the spooky room. Oh, interesting. Using Mumbo's pictures, like, maybe as like clues or something like that. That's kind of cool, yeah. Impulse is live. That's weird. Is there going to be quest-based loot locations like Rusty? I wouldn't say Rusty was quest. Rusty was just lock and key. You had to get a key to unlock the loot. You broke a block in the floor. Yeah, that's the second time I've done that now, so it leads me to believe that I need to add more obsidian here. All right, let me head back. Is the mansion intended as the new social area? Yeah. Saucy, thank you again. Thank you so much. Yeah, the mansion that, to be clear, and I think this is causing some confusion because there's two mansions associated with the Decked Out. There's the mansion in the game that is a high-level zone of the game, and then there's the mansion on the top of the mountain that is the entrance to the game. The mansion on the top of the mountain is theoretically where I live. The mansion in the game is totally different. So I'm not building the mansion in the game. I'm building the mansion on top of the mountain. And yes, that will be basically Deep Frost Citadel equivalent. That's where players will hopefully congregate. It's where the game will start, all that stuff. Are you going to ask more hermits to build parts of the game? Possibly. I think we're going to see how this goes with Pearl and B-dubs, and then potentially ask for more help later. We'll see. Mansion versus manor. I mean, I could do that, but no one would know the difference. All right, yeah, we're gonna raid MP because we never really got to do that. Raid Impulse SV. Twinkers. Thank you guys so much for today. Again, with the support today, it was absolutely unbelievable. I don't even know how to thank you guys so much. Thank you. Twinkers. I really need to start using the dashboard. Oh, here we go again. This is where we fail. Dismiss. There we go. Discount Dan is a lit RPG. Okay, I might check it out. Appreciate it. Yeah, I should be streaming tomorrow, I think. Not confirmed, but maybe tomorrow with Imp and Skiz playing a new game. I'm very excited, and there won't be a stream on Wednesday because I got doctor's appointment, stuff like that. So take care, guys, and hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow for a fun stream. Looking forward to it.